Hello guys, welcome back to Mr. Mir's Models. Today is going to be something a little bit different compared to normal videos. It's going to be a video, build video, and it's going to be a photo montage video. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking you through the building process of my latest completion, the 1:144 scale Mikro Mir Vickers Valiant B1. Now, originally building this kit for a buddy build run by our good friend Lamont over on International British Modeler, and that was for the Bomber Command buddy build. Now, I didn't get it finished in time, but I have completed it, and if you've seen my update for January, then you will have seen the sort of finished article in there briefly. Been a limited run kit. This Mikro Mir kit caused me quite a lot of headaches as building it, in between some photo etch which went pinging off and decals which went and sort of shattered, etc, etc. So I thought I'll take you through that build process, and hopefully if anybody comes around to build this kit, you can learn from my mistakes. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a voiceover and a step-by-step process of the video, of the build. Now, I'm not sure how long this is going to take, because there's a fair few photos to get through, but once we've done it, then what I'll do is I'll come back to face the camera and give you my thoughts on the whole build and my thoughts on this kind of video as well. So let's head down to the computer and get started with the build. So here we go, guys. First of all, a quick tour around the box and its instructions. Here you can see it's 20th of August when I started it, a long time ago. The box with its instructions and contents. And here's a quick trip around the instructions. They're quite basic. They're just a piece of A4 folded out, and there aren't that many steps to the whole build. I think a total of 8 steps. And here are your 3 decal markings, 1 Royal Australian Air Force and 2 Royal Air Force, and there's the other stencil markings. So this is the main fuselage sprue, just having a quick look around there, and the main wing, upper wing, the sprue of the lower wing and the ailerons, and we had the auxiliary sprues with landing gears and stuff like that, and undercarriage, drop tank, wing tanks, the undercarriage here, and 1 clear sprue, clear in between brackets. Some photo etch, which we used some of it but not all, and the decals. We'll get onto that much later. They were very much a challenge. So here we go, make a start, and we started with the wing tanks. So we got those off the sprue and started some dry fitting, and there we go, glued them together with some Mir extra thin, the quick setting one, and that was the first bit of the build. So we did 2 of those. Then we started to work on the wing. So that's the underwings. We've got those off the sprue, and we need to do some work on the air intakes and the landing gear base. So the air intakes here, this is dry fit. You can see there's gaps all over it, and it's not a very good fit. And with that in, the upper and lower wings don't meet together. Even this is dry fitting once again with some tape. You can see it's not a good fit at all. So we sort of tried to force it in. We tried to see how good we could get, and in the end we ended up using some Floyd model sanders to take off quite a lot of material and thin down that middle strut there. And at the same time then I started working on the jet exhausts. These were pretty horrible, to be honest, and didn't make a good rendition. This here was nose wheel bay, dry fitting once again, and then committing to glue. Here it is glued on one side. Once again, as you can see, the fit is not the best at all. But onto the main fuselage, and this is dry fit. Just looking for where the mistakes are going to be and what we're going to have to do. In the meanwhile, I came back to the air intakes, and that was sprayed white. And then the first stage compressors are glued in place and held in place with a bit of sprue, and all masticed off to make sure there weren't any gaps. That's your exhausts. And there we are with the air intakes complete, and not looking too bad, to be honest. Jet exhaust, we're working on those and trying to get them down to the right size and to look like something which would be acceptable, but you can see there's a seam line on the inside of the jet exhaust, and it's not looking very good. This here is where I start to work on the main wings, gluing them together, upper and lower wings, and use a combination of the Mir extra thin quick set and the white top. That there's the instrument panel, and with a 5-penny coin just to put in perspective how small it is in this scale. Working on the wheels, once again we need to take off some excess. So I decided to scratch build the jet exhaust by using some 5mm tubing, cut them down to size and put the jet exhaust on top. The cockpit got painted with some Vallejo black grey, just all over black grey because you're not going to see anything, so I thought I'd keep it simple. And this is the leading edge, which needed quite a lot of filling going on. Back to the cockpit, and we're gluing it in place, holding it in place with a combination of super glue and talcum powder. So here I'm working on the leading edge, sanded down. I was quite happy with the result, also masked off the air intakes at the same time. And here we are gluing the two fuselage halves together. Lots of preparation and using a combination of white top to Mir and also quick set to hold it in place, tack it to place, and lots of clamping, as you can see. Then I went on to dry fit the main wings, the wings on top, and as you can see it required quite a lot of work. There's a hole join at the front and also at the aft position. As you can see here, it wasn't a good fit, so we had to sand quite a lot of material off the actual fuselage to get a good fit of the wings. Then we moved on to working on the tail planes with some vague locating tabs, and onto the cockpit, which once again required me to take quite a lot of material off to get a good fit, which wasn't so easy. And then went into primer. So to prime this I used Steinel Vez, and I shot it through a 0.2 needle nozzle, finned with isopropyl alcohol, and as you can see here, it came out alright. Quite liking the look of it in the primer. So yeah, that was a big step in the right direction. Once you get the primer down, you always feel happy that you can check all your seams and make sure they're good. So then went into pre-shade. For this I didn't want a pure black, so I think I used a rubber black or a NATO black from Mir, and here it is with a better lighting setup rather than spray booth. It's quite vague, but I want it to be quite vague so that it bleeds through and makes a broken up effect on the paint. Now to paint it I used Mr. Hobby Aqueous Insignia White FS1644, thin 50/50 with Mr. Hobby self-leveling thinners, and this is the result after the first coat. As you can see, the pre-shade is breaking through quite a lot. You can still see the pre-shade here. This is the first coat underneath, and then after the second coat you can see the pre-shade is a lot less stark and much better result all over. So I was quite happy the way that the white came out, and the photos that I've got here don't necessarily do it justice. I then gave it a clear coat with Mr. Hobby self-leveling thinner and super clear 3, and then went on to painting the light aircraft grey bit underneath the nose, and then I freehand painted the anti-glare panel with some Vallejo black. Then we went on to paint the inside of the wheel wells light aircraft grey once again. And then it is on to the decals. Here we are getting ready for them with the references and the decal sheet underneath. And here we are, we're starting. So using micro sol, micro set, and they were very fragile. I had multiple of them break, and I had problems with the colour running as well and staining parts of the paint. This big long one along the top of the back here shattered into I don't know how many pieces and had to be all lined up manually. I'm quite happy with the way it came out though. Overall, the decals, I say, were quite poor, and the roundels on the sides of the fuselage I had to replace because they shattered. So thankfully I had some in the spares box, and also I had to respray around the serial number as it stained the white. Then I went on to seal them in with some more GX100 Super Clear 3 thin 50/50 of Mr. Hobby self-leveling thinners, and prepared for wash. Now for the wash I used Floyd Models wash. I used some dark dirt, some grey and some white wash, and made a custom mix to not make it too stark. I didn't want it to be too dirty, and I was quite happy with the way it turned out, to be honest. So yes, very happy with the result of the wash, and it's a beauty of the Floyd washes. They're very easy to use, and you can make your own custom colours, so happy with that. Here we put on the wing fuel tanks and left those to dry in place. They were held in with super glue. And then we started work on the undercarriage. Now there's quite a bit of photo etch here which I didn't use, but I'm happy about it. It's not going to make a big difference to the actual result. So there's all that drying in position now, and a few more shots. As I say, the undercarriage was quite complicated and didn't need the additional complication of photo etch in my mind. However, if you wanted to use it, you'd probably be able to get away with it if you wanted to. That also brings into the rest of the photo, which I didn't use the wing vortex generators, which would have been along the top there, just on the leading edge, and also lost a few aerials, but I say in the scale I'm quite happy. These are just some photos, preparing for some final reveal photos, and I was quite happy with the result, to be honest. It's a limited run kit and it's put at a fight. So here are the final reveal photos. I hope you've enjoyed this build video. I've enjoyed making it. Allows me to show you the video, the process quite quickly and go into some detail. Here's some close-up photos. Oops, that doesn't look so good there. But here you can see the overall view. I think it certainly looks like a Valiant of the V-Force, and I'm happy the way it's turned out in terms of colours. Even though here it looks a bit grey in real life, as you've seen from other photos, it's not grey at all. So with that, guys, that wraps up the video build. I'm just going to be bringing the camera back face to face. So guys, you've seen the building process of this limited run kit from Mikro Mir, and as I say, it did cause me quite a lot of headaches. However, what I did find it really good for this build, although challenging, it got you back to the basics of modelling. You know, test fitting, dry fitting, sanding, re-dry fitting, re-sanding, test fitting, gluing, sanding, filling, sanding, and that kind of process. And making sure that things sort of lined up. There's no locating tabs on this builder, as you've seen during the video, and because of that, you know, you had to make sure you got things right before you committed to glue. I think that little challenge was actually really good, and hopefully that when I'm going to be building the more sophisticated kits, like I'm building the Mir Mosquito at the minute, it just seems so easy because things sort of drop into place, but you still make sure you dry fit it. So I'd say if you've never built a limited run kit, go and give it a go. They're not overly expensive, although that kit is, but you can pick up some interesting kits at not too expensive price from companies like A Model, Mikro Mir, Models of It, people like that, and they quite often cover subjects that the mainstream manufacturers don't. So I'd recommend people having a go. Would I recommend this kit? Yes, because as far as I'm aware, the only other kit in the scale is a vac form kit, and that just scares the bejeeves out of me. So that's that. What do you think about doing videos like this? I think it's interesting. You know, you can sort of like, when you're doing like live video per se, like I've done in previous builds, you sort of have to do step by step, and sort of it can take quite a while. As here, you know, in one sort of video I can wrap in the whole of the build. So I quite like the idea of that, and it might be something I do again in the future. So anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video. As always, I'm going to say thank you very much for those who follow me along, the subscribers, both the old subscribers and new subscribers. I really appreciate your support, guys. It's really warming to the heart to know that people kind of want to follow what you're doing in terms of your hobby. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you do, give me a like. If you don't, give me a dislike, but just let me know why. All feedback is welcome. You know. Or constructive criticism is welcome, so if you want to give me it, I'd be greatly appreciated, and if you do leave a comment, I'll always try and get back to you. So that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to wish you some good bench time. So happy modelling, take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.